The large space station hung like a shining jewel above the planet. Inside, thousands of people from many different planets lived and worked together. There were many places to eat and enjoy. One popular place was the Starfire restaurant. It was bright, clean, and full of lights that made everything look special. Tonight, the restaurant was busy. The air smelled of spices, sweet fruits, and cooked food. At a table near the big window that looked out into space, Marcus and Aisha sat with two of their friends. Marcus was tall and strong. He had short black hair and a serious face. Aisha was bright and smart. Her skin was dark and smooth, and her eyes shone like stars. She wore a blue dress that matched the color of the night sky outside. The friends laughed and talked while enjoying their meal. The meal was a mix of foods from many worlds. They had glowing vegetables from the moon of Lyria, soft bread from Earth, and a sweet cake made from fruit grown on the station's gardens. Aisha loved the cake. It was her favorite part of the dinner. As the meal ended, a small robot came to their table. It held a glowing tablet that showed the bill. Marcus reached for it quickly. He looked at Aisha with a frown. "You didn't pay the bill?" he said loudly. His voice was sharp and full of surprise. Aisha blinked and shook her head. "I already paid it," she said quietly. "I used my payment device when the robot brought the food." Marcus laughed. "No, you didn't. I would have seen it. You always forget. You think I will pay for everything?" The friends stopped talking. They looked at Marcus and Aisha. The light in the room felt colder. Aisha's face became serious. She did not want to argue in public. Marcus stood up. He looked angry, but tried to sound joking. "If you don't pay, then maybe you need to learn a lesson." Before anyone could say anything, Marcus grabbed the small plate with the last piece of cake. He threw it at Aisha's face. The soft cake hit Aisha's cheek and slid down. Some of the sweet fruit fell on her dress. Everyone gasped. The noise of the restaurant seemed to stop for a moment. Aisha's eyes were wide. She did not move. She slowly raised her hand and wiped the cake off her face. Her friends looked shocked. Marcus looked surprised too, but he smiled as if it was funny. "I am sorry," Marcus said, but his voice was cold. "Maybe next time you will remember to pay." Aisha stood up and walked to the restroom. She did not say a word. Her friends looked at Marcus with quiet anger. In the restroom, Aisha looked at herself, in the mirror. The soft cake was gone, but she could feel the sting of the moment deep inside. She took out her small payment device. The screen showed that she had paid the bill minutes ago. Aisha spoke softly to her AI assistant. "Why do people still think respect is optional?" The AI did not answer, but Aisha felt a calm come over her. She cleaned her face carefully and returned to the table. Marcus was talking loudly with their friends. He said, "She was trying to avoid paying, but I showed her she can't do that. Everyone should know the rules." Aisha sat down and looked at Marcus. "You are wrong," she said quietly, but with strength. "I did pay the bill. You never checked. You judged me too fast." Marcus looked at her, confused. "Then why didn't the robot say it was paid?" "Because I paid it myself," Aisha said. "I do not need you to prove anything to me." The friends watched. The room was silent again. Aisha smiled a little and stood up. "I need some fresh air," she said. She walked out of the restaurant without waiting for an answer. Outside, the station's bright lights and stars filled the sky. Aisha took deep breaths. She was hurt, but also strong. She knew this moment was more than just about a cake or a bill. It was about respect and trust. Marcus sat back and looked at the empty chair where Aisha was. For the first time, he felt a little doubt. The night continued, but something between them had changed. Aisha stepped out of the restaurant and into the wide hallway of the space station's promenade. The stars outside shone brightly through the huge windows. The gentle hum of ships flying by filled the air. People walked past, talking and laughing. Aisha walked slowly, her mind full of thoughts. She stopped near a quiet corner and took out her small payment device. The device was sleek and smooth, shaped like a small flat disk. She touched the screen and opened the payment history. The list showed the meal had been paid moments before the bill came. Aisha spoke softly to her AI assistant, whose voice was calm and kind. "Check again, please. Make sure the payment was sent correctly." "Payment confirmed, Aisha," the AI said. "The bill was paid on time. No errors detected." Aisha sighed. "Good. Now, how do I fix this? Marcus thinks I did not pay. He made a scene." "That is unfortunate," said the AI. "But you have the truth on your side. You can show proof if you want." Aisha shook her head. "It is not about proof right now. It is about respect." Marcus did not listen. He assumed the worst. She looked back toward the restaurant. The lights inside were warm, but to her, the room felt cold. She knew her friends were there, watching. She wondered what they thought about Marcus and her. Meanwhile, inside the restaurant, Marcus was still talking. He laughed and told the story, again to their friends. "I told her she must pay. When she didn't, I had to do something. That cake was just a joke. She should not take it so seriously." One of their friends, a tall man with bright green skin named Joran, looked uneasy. "Marcus, maybe you should have asked first. Maybe Aisha paid already." Marcus waved his hand. "No, I know how she is. She always wants others to pay." Joran did not say more. He looked toward the door where Aisha had left. His eyes were kind, but worried. Back outside, Aisha sent a quick message to her closest friend, Lena. Lena was a calm and wise woman from another planet. She always gave good advice. "Lena," Aisha wrote, "Marcus is wrong. I paid the bill, but he did not believe me. He threw cake at me in front of everyone. I do not know what to do next," Lena replied fast. "That is not right, Aisha. You do not deserve that. But maybe this is a chance to teach Marcus about respect. He needs to understand that trust is important." Aisha nodded to herself. She felt a small fire inside. She would not let this moment break her spirit. Instead, she would show strength in a way that surprised everyone. She returned to the restaurant, but stayed near the entrance. She watched Marcus and their friends. Marcus was still smiling and talking loudly. He did not notice her. Aisha thought about what Lena said. Respect and trust were the true problems. It was not just about the bill or the cake. It was about how people see each other and how they treat each other. She decided to wait and think before she spoke again. She wanted to be calm and clear. She did not want to fight, but to open Marcus's eyes. Later that evening, Aisha's AI assistant helped her prepare a message to send to Marcus and their friends. The message was simple and honest. It said, "I paid the bill. The cake was a surprise, but I will not let anger take control. I ask for respect and trust. We live in a time and place where equality is important. Let us remember that before we judge each other." She sent the message and waited. Marcus read it quickly. He frowned and showed it to their friends. One of the friends, Mira, a young woman with silver hair, said softly, "Marcus, maybe you were too quick to act. Aisha is right. Respect matters." Marcus looked at her and then at the message again. For a moment, his confident face softened, but he did not say anything more. That night, Aisha went home alone. The apartment was quiet but filled with memories of better times. She sat by the window and looked at the stars. She hoped Marcus would understand soon. She hoped their friends would support her. The next morning, Aisha prepared for the day. She had work to do at the station's cultural center. Her job was to help new arrivals from different planets learn about respect and unity. She loved her work because it brought people together. As she walked to the center, she thought about Marcus. She wished he could join her in this mission. She wished he could see how important respect was in their diverse world. Meanwhile, Marcus woke up feeling different. The memory of the cake and the message from Aisha stayed with him. He looked at himself in the mirror. For the first time, he asked quietly, "Did I really respect her?" His phone beeped. It was a message from Joran. It said, "Think about what Aisha said. Respect is more than words." Marcus did not reply. He sat quietly, thinking. At work, Aisha met with her team. They planned new activities to teach respect and trust to the station's many cultures. She spoke with passion and hope. Her friends called her later. They told her that Marcus was acting strange. He was quiet and thoughtful. He had not told anyone more about the cake. Aisha smiled. She knew this was the start of a change. That evening, she received an invitation from Marcus. It was simple. It said, "Let us talk, publicly, at the community hall, tomorrow evening." Aisha read the message carefully. She knew this could be the moment to face the problem and find a new path. She answered, "I will come." The story was no longer just about a cake or a bill. It was about respect, trust, and the future of their relationship in a world full of many voices and colors. The next evening, the community hall was full. People from many planets gathered to watch Marcus and Aisha talk. The hall was large and bright, with seats arranged in a circle. The wall showed pictures of different cultures and their traditions. The air was warm, and the sound of voices mixed with soft music. Marcus stood near the center. He looked nervous but tried to appear strong. Aisha entered quietly. She wore a calm expression. She greeted the people with a small wave. The crowd settled down as the leader of the community came forward. "Tonight," the leader said, "Marcus and Aisha will speak about respect and trust. Their story is important for us all. We live together in a place full of many colors, languages, and hearts. Let us listen with open minds." Aisha looked at Marcus. "I want to begin," she said. "What happened at the restaurant was more than a cake or a bill. It was about respect." She took a breath. "Marcus assumed I did not pay. He threw cake at me in front of everyone. That hurt me deeply." The crowd was quiet. Marcus looked down. "But," Aisha continued, "I did not want to fight or make more anger. I want us to understand each other better. Respect is not just a word. It is how we treat each other, especially when we disagree." Marcus spoke next. "I was wrong. I did not listen. I judged too fast. I thought I was joking, but I hurt Aisha and others. I am sorry." The crowd nodded. Some smiled. The leader spoke again. "Words are good, but actions are better. We have an old tradition in this community. It is called the respect trial. It helps couples learn about each other and grow stronger." Aisha and Marcus looked at each other. Marcus nodded slowly. "I agree. I want to learn." The leader smiled. "The trial will start tomorrow. You will take part in tests that teach empathy, trust, and cooperation. It will be hard, but it will help." That night, Aisha and Marcus returned home. The quiet apartment felt different. Both were thinking about the trial. Aisha was calm, but ready. Marcus was nervous, but hopeful. The next day, they arrived at the trial center. The room was large with many screens and soft lights. A guide explained the rules. "You will face 3 challenges. Each test will help you see through each other's eyes and work as a team." The first test was called the walk in another's shoes. Marcus put on a special visor that showed him Aisha's life. He saw her days of work, her moments of joy, and her times of struggle. He saw how hard she tried to be fair and kind. Marcus blinked. "I did not know," he said quietly. "I did not see how much you do." Aisha smiled. "Thank you for trying. The second test was a teamwork puzzle. They had to build a model together, but the pieces only fit if they worked closely and listened to each other. At first, Marcus wanted to do it alone. Aisha waited patiently. Slowly, he learned to ask for help and trust her ideas. The last test was a cultural lesson. They met with elders from many planets who shared stories about respect, kindness, and equality. Marcus listened and asked questions. Aisha watched him change. After the tests, the leader came back. "You have learned much," he said. "But the greatest lesson is to keep learning. Respect is a path, not a place." Marcus looked at Aisha and smiled. "I am sorry for the cake and my words. I want to be better." Aisha took his hand. "And I want us to be equal partners, with trust and respect." The community cheered. The trial was over, but the journey had just begun. The morning sun streamed through the tall windows of the space station's community center. Outside, ships flew smoothly between planets, and people from many worlds moved along the streets below. Inside, a crowd gathered in the large hall. The atmosphere was full of curiosity and quiet excitement. Marcus and Aisha arrived together, walking side by side. Their faces showed a mix of hope and seriousness. Today was important. It was the day they would face a new challenge, one that could change how everyone in the station saw respect and partnership. The community leader stood at the front of the hall. She was an elder from a planet known for its peaceful ways. Her voice was calm but strong. "Welcome, everyone. Today, Marcus and Aisha will take part in a public challenge. This event is not just for them, but for all of us. It is a chance to learn, to listen, and to grow." The leader explained the rules. The public challenge is a special ceremony. Marcus and Aisha will work together to complete 3 tasks. These tasks will test their trust, communication, and respect for each other's strengths and differences. The whole community will watch and support them. Aisha looked at Marcus and smiled softly. He nodded. They were ready to begin. The first task was called the Trust Walk. Marcus wore a blindfold. Aisha's voice guided him through a maze of soft obstacles. His steps were careful and slow. He had to trust her completely. Sometimes he hesitated, but Aisha's clear and steady instructions helped him move forward. When Marcus reached the end of the maze, the crowd clapped. Marcus opened his eyes and smiled. "I felt afraid at first," he said, "but trusting you made me stronger." Aisha's eyes shone, and I learned how important it is to be clear and patient. The second task was the communication puzzle. Marcus and Aisha sat back to back. They each had pieces of a puzzle that only fit together if they described their pieces well and listened closely. At first, they struggled. Marcus wanted to rush. Aisha spoke calmly, guiding him to slow down and pay attention. Slowly, the puzzle came together. When it was complete, the crowd cheered. Marcus looked surprised. "We did it," he said. "By listening, not just talking." Aisha nodded. "Communication is more than words. It is about understanding." The last task was the Strength Challenge. Marcus and Aisha had to lift and move a heavy object together. The object was too big for one person, but together, they found the right balance. Marcus used his strength carefully, while Aisha gave directions and steady support. As they moved the object, they laughed and encouraged each other. When the task was done, the crowd stood and applauded loudly. The community leader returned. Marcus and Aisha have shown courage and growth. They remind us all that respect and partnership build strong bonds. Marcus took Aisha's hand. "I am grateful for this chance," he said. "I see now that respect is action, not just words." Aisha smiled warmly. "And I see that trust grows with effort and patience." The people in the hall felt inspired. Many came forward to share their own stories of respect and learning. The day ended with music and food from many planets, a celebration of unity and hope. Later that night, Marcus and Aisha walked home under the glowing stars. Their hands were still joined. They talked softly about their day and what they had learned. Aisha said, "This challenge was more than I expected. It showed me that change is possible when we open our hearts." Marcus agreed. "And it showed me how much I want to be a better partner." The space station continued to shine around them, a place where many worlds met and grew together. Marcus and Aisha knew their journey was just beginning, but now they walked it side by side, stronger and more united than before. The morning light was soft and warm inside the space station's cultural center. Marcus and Aisha arrived together, ready to begin the next step of their journey. The respect trial was about to start, and both felt a mix of nerves and hope. Tatobe Trial Center was a large room filled with gentle lights and many screens. The air was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. A guide named Lyra greeted them. She was calm and kind, with bright eyes full of understanding. "Welcome, Marcus and Aisha," Lyra said. "The respect trial is a journey to help you see each other clearly. You will walk in each other's shoes, solve problems together, and learn from many cultures." Marcus nodded. "We are ready." Aisha smiled softly. "We want to grow and understand." The first test was called the walk. In another's shoes, Marcus was given a special visor that showed him Aisha's daily life. As the visor turned on, Marcus saw through Aisha's eyes. He saw her work at the cultural center, helping new arrivals learn respect and kindness. He saw her face when she felt tired, but kept smiling. He saw moments when she was proud and when she was lonely. Marcus's heart grew heavy. He did not realize how much Aisha carried each day. He whispered, "I did not see this before." Aisha watched him quietly. "Thank you for seeing." Next, Aisha tried the visor. She saw Marcus's life from his point of view. She saw his work as a security officer on the station. She saw how he tried to keep peace but sometimes felt frustrated and alone. She saw his worry about making mistakes. Aisha reached out and held Marcus's hand. "I understand you better now." The second test was a teamwork puzzle. They were given many small pieces that could only fit together if they listened and worked as a team. At first, Marcus wanted to do everything himself. He moved fast and missed the right places. Aisha waited patiently. She said, "Let me help. We can do this together." Marcus took a deep breath and slowed down. He asked Aisha for ideas and listened. Carefully, slowly, the puzzle began to take shape. When the last piece fit, they smiled. The guide, Lyra, clapped softly. "You are learning to trust and cooperate." The last test was a cultural lesson. Elders from many planets shared stories about respect and kindness. One elder told how her people used songs to show honor. Another shared how their planet taught children to listen with their hearts. Marcus and Aisha listened closely. Marcus asked questions. Aisha smiled proudly. After the lessons, the community leader returned. "The greatest lesson is to keep learning and to grow together. Respect is not a single act, but a journey." Marcus looked at Aisha. "I am sorry for the cake in my words. I want to be better." Aisha squeezed his hand. "And I want us to be partners with trust and respect." The crowd in the center cheered softly. The trial was over, but their path was just beginning. That night, Marcus and Aisha sat together and talked about their day. They spoke about the feelings they shared and the lessons they learned. They felt closer and more hopeful. Marcus said, "I see now that respect means listening and understanding. I want to change." Aisha smiled. "And I believe we will grow stronger together." The space station's lights twinkled outside their window. It was a place where many worlds met, and where respect and love could build new futures. The morning air in the space station was fresh and cool. Marcus woke early and looked out the window. The stars sparkled like diamonds. Today felt different. He felt a quiet hope inside him. The lessons from the respect trial stayed with him. He wanted to change for the better. Marcus prepared for the day with care. He dressed neatly and checked his communication device. He had a message from Aisha. It said, "Thank you for your courage. I believe in us." Marcus smiled. He knew this was a new beginning. At the Cultural Center, Marcus and Aisha met again. The team greeted them warmly. Today, they would share their story with others in the community. It was a chance to inspire and teach respect. Marcus felt nervous, but ready. He stood next to Aisha as they began to speak. "We made mistakes," Marcus said honestly. "I judged without listening. I acted without thinking. But through the trial, I learned how important respect and trust are." Aisha nodded. Respect is the foundation of all strong relationships. It takes patience and kindness. The crowd listened carefully. Many nodded in agreement. Some shared their own stories of growth. After the talk, Marcus and Aisha walked through the space station's marketplace. The colors and sounds filled the air. Merchants sold foods and goods from many planets. Children played nearby, laughing and running. Aisha stopped at a stall selling small cakes. She picked one up and smiled at Marcus. "Remember the cake?" Marcus laughed softly. "Yes, this time I will eat it quietly." They bought the cake and found a quiet spot near the window. Marcus took the first bite and smiled. "It tastes better when shared," Aisha agreed, "and better when there is respect." As they talked, a young couple approached them. The woman said, "We heard your story today. It gave us hope. We want to learn how to build respect too." Marcus and Aisha smiled. They shared what they had learned about listening and trust. Later that day, Marcus met with his friends. He told them about the trial and his change of heart. Some were surprised, but most listened and respected his honesty. At home, Marcus and Aisha sat together. They planned new ways to support each other and their community. They talked about fairness, patience, and kindness. The night came, and the stars shone brightly. Marcus looked at Aisha and said, "Thank you for your strength and patience. I want to be the partner you deserve." Aisha smiled warmly. "And I want us to grow together, every day." Their hands joined gently. The space station outside continued to glow, a place of many worlds and new beginnings. The space station was alive with light and sound. Today was special. The community was holding a grand feast to celebrate unity and growth. People from many planets gathered in the large hall. The air was full of joy, music, and the smell of delicious food. Marcus and Aisha arrived together. Their faces showed happiness and calm. They walked hand in hand through the crowd. Their friends and neighbors smiled and greeted them warmly. Everyone knew about their journey and the changes they had made. The feast was full of foods from many worlds. There were colorful fruits, spicy dishes, soft breads, and sweet cakes. Aisha's favorite cake was there too, made fresh and ready to share. As the music played, Marcus and Aisha found a quiet place near a window that looked out into space. The stars twinkled like old friends. Marcus looked at Aisha and smiled. "Remember the cake I threw at you?" he asked gently. Aisha laughed softly. "Yes, I do. It was a surprise I did not want." Marcus took a small plate and served her a piece of cake. "This time, it is with respect and love." Aisha's eyes shone. She took the cake and smiled. "Thank you. This means more than you know." The crowd watched them with warm eyes. Their story was a lesson in respect, trust, and growth. Many people had learned from them. After the feast, the community leader spoke to the crowd. "Marcus and Aisha remind us all that change is possible. When we open our hearts and listen, we can build a better future together. The people cheered and clapped. Marcus and Aisha felt proud and hopeful. Later, as the feast ended, Marcus and Aisha walked outside. The stars above the space station seemed brighter. The future was wide and open. Aisha said, "Our journey was not easy, but it made us stronger." Marcus nodded. "Yes, I will always remember to respect and trust you. We are partners in every way." They looked at the stars, dreaming of new adventures and the many worlds they would explore together. The space station was a place of many colors, voices, and hearts. It was a place where respect and love could grow. Marcus and Aisha knew they were part of something bigger, a future full of hope and unity. Hand in hand, they walked forward, together.